Tonight on CTV News, debate over Alberta separation.
In the absence of a unified Canada, we'll be poorer. We will not be as successful.
So BC gave a Team Canada jersey to Danielle Smith. Another premier delivered a much more pointed message.
We need something now. It's unacceptable.
A call for domestic violence offenders to be tracked with GPS. Victims' families push the province to crack down.
It's just the beginning of a brand new neighborhood here in Vancouver.
And a sneak peek inside Sanok, what it costs to rent a home inside the dramatic development built by the Squamish Nation.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Loved ones of two women allegedly murdered by their husbands are turning their trauma into advocacy. They were at the legislature today pushing for tougher tracking of domestic violence offenders. They say it's been proven in other jurisdictions to save lives. CTV's Shannon Patterson reports.
It's been nearly a year since mother of two Bailey McCourt was beaten to death in a Kelowna parking lot. Her estranged husband, who was convicted of domestic violence charges that very morning, has been charged with her murder. In January, Vancouver Island University professor Laura Gover was also killed, allegedly by her estranged husband.
You're constantly reminded of the tragedy and the trauma that our families have experienced.
Bailey McCourt's aunt and Laura Gover's friends were in Victoria today to lobby for GPS monitoring for alleged perpetrators of intimate partner violence.
We already use ankle monitors. I think the family is just saying, we're not using them often enough. And why don't we give the victim an alert system so that if he gets close or he's breaching conditions that she knows, and she knows that risk is escalating.
It gives it a survivor the opportunity to survive, to not become a victim, a murder victim. They're able to get these alerts and know, okay, that perpetrator is within the vicinity. What can I do concretely right now to keep myself safe?
The victims' advocates made their case to the public safety minister in a meeting at the legislature this afternoon.
Electronic monitoring is something that we are absolutely looking at, and they presented a very compelling case to how GPS monitoring can be employed as it is in other jurisdictions. They noted in Spain, Alberta is doing interesting work in this area.
The federal bill C-225, also known as Bailey's Law, is currently before the Senate. It includes risk assessments and tougher bail provisions for perpetrators of domestic violence.
So I think in addition to Bill C-225 and GPS monitoring, I think it's going to make a significant change.
Advocates hope those changes happen before anyone else loses their life to intimate partner violence. Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
The debate over Alberta separation wrapped up today. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew is calling on Danielle Smith to pause the referendum in the fall. It was supposed to be a chance for Western premiers to find common ground on growing the economy, but their differences with Alberta took center stage. CTV's Rob Buffum is live in Victoria with more. Rob?
The conference started with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith gifting all of the other premiers cowboy boots. But by the end of it this afternoon, there was very little two-stepping as the leaders had a hard time getting past some major disagreements. It was a gift from Premier Eby, sure, but also a cagey move, forcing Danielle Smith to don a Canada FIFA jersey for the cameras after she recently greenlit a referendum on separation in her province.
I remain incredibly anxious, frankly, about this. I've seen the Brexit referendum that was just supposed to be a chance for people to express the clarity that they wanted to stay part of the EU, and it did not end up that way.
It was the latest volley in the escalating war of words and gestures between the BC and Alberta leaders, adding to the ongoing dispute over a proposed pipeline to BC's coast.
I disagree profoundly with Premier Smith's referendum. I think it is a huge mistake. And Premier Smith disagrees with me profoundly about issues related to a pipeline to the North Coast and the North Coast tanker ban.
The Western premiers addressed a range of topics during the two-day conference, including Arctic sovereignty, economic growth, the Tumbler Ridge tragedy, and wildfires. But Alberta separation loomed large over it all.
We have to address the legitimate grievances that have come from 10 years of economic attack on our province.
In a dramatic moment, Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew jumped into the fray, forcefully calling on Smith to delay the fall referendum and challenging her interpretation of the constitutional duty to consult First Nations.
I think we know that is not correct, a lot of what you just said there, Premier Smith. Now is the time to work together. Why don't we hold off on this referendum talk for a year or two and see if we get these pipelines under construction?
Everyone at the table worked to put forward a united front to identify the things that they can agree on, and yet how quickly cracks started to show in the facade between the different premiers.
As Canada's Western premiers put on their photo-ready faces and the appearances of a united team, despite growing tensions boiling just below the surface. Also at the press conference this afternoon, Premier Eby did confirm that tomorrow there will be a major announcement about a German company agreeing to buy liquefied natural gas from a proposed LNG plant on BC's coast, which would bring it one step towards being finalized, one step closer, I should say. If it does indeed get finalized, it'll be the second biggest LNG plant in Canada. So big energy news coming down the pipes tomorrow here in BC. Mijun.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to cover that. Thank you, Rob. Sentencing is underway for the man convicted of a double murder on Broadway 8 years ago. A Supreme Court jury found Kane Carter guilty of the second-degree murders of an innocent teenage boy and a rival gang member in December. The convictions come with an automatic life sentence. The question now is, how many years will he serve before he's allowed to apply for parole? CTV's Ben Nesbitt reports in a warning some viewers may find the details disturbing.
Crown prosecutors say Kane Carter should spend 20 years behind bars before being eligible to apply for parole, calling on the court to send a stern message that this type of reckless gun violence will be met with severe consequences. Carter, who's now 30 years old, was on trial for the fatal shootings of 15-year-old Alfred Wong, who was an innocent bystander, and the alleged intended target, 23-year-old Kevin Whiteside, near Broadway and Ontario Street back on January 13th, 2018. Wong had been traveling home from dinner with his family when shots were fired, one hitting him on the right side of his chest, which would send him to hospital, where he died days later. The Crown believes Whiteside had been in the area to kill Matthew Navis-Rivas, another gang member and associate of Carter's, as he left Indochine restaurant that night. They suspected that Carter was there to protect Navis-Rivas. In a victim impact statement, Wong's mom saying, "It is every mother's nightmare to see her child killed before her eyes. There were no last words, no goodbyes, and there has been no closure. I am still haunted by our last moments in the car. I wonder, did he know that was our last sight of each other? Did he know he would never wake up again? He was so unprepared. It breaks my heart to think of him on that unknown journey all by himself." Both parents have attended court daily throughout the trial process. The court heard Carter flew here from Ontario a few months before the shootings and was operating a drug-dealing operation with Navis-Rivas. He then flew back a week after the shooting. Crown highlighted Carter has multiple firearms-related convictions in Ontario, saying they believe he has very little potential for rehabilitation. Defense began their submissions Tuesday afternoon, saying Carter should be able to apply for parole after 12 years. They say Whiteside was the catalyst of the events that transpired that night. They'll continue those submissions Wednesday. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
One man is in hospital and the Independent Investigations Office has been called in after Surrey police opened fire in a quiet residential neighborhood near the Delta border Monday night. CTV's Ben Milger has more on how the shooting unfolded.
According to neighbors, it was right here on this corner where the shooting took place. Surrey Police Service says it was responding to a report of a suspicious male in the area and alleged the man confronted arriving officers who then opened fire. It happened at the intersection of South Park Crescent and South Park Close just after 7:30 Monday evening. The Independent Investigations Office says the man was taken to hospital with serious injuries. A news release from the Surrey Police Service says the man reportedly confronted police, with police firing their service-issued duty pistols. The IIO says at this stage in the investigation, it is not prepared to publicly share whether more than one officer fired shots.
It's an aspect of the investigation that we're still looking into at this point, being that it is so early. We wouldn't want to compromise any witness statements that we're going to take about what may have taken place. So still something that we're looking into.
Neither Surrey Police nor the IIO have said whether the man had a weapon of any kind. IIO investigators could be seen canvassing door to door on Tuesday morning. The IIO says the investigation is still in its early stages. It is appealing for witnesses or anyone with CCTV or dashcam footage to contact investigators. Ben Milger, CTV News, Surrey.
We are getting our first look tonight inside one of the Sanok Towers, at landmark development built on the site of an ancestral village of the Squamish people at the south end of the Burrard Bridge. We'll take you there in just a moment. But first, let's take a look outside. Our camera from Grouse Mountain looking down on downtown Vancouver, and plenty of sun. And Anne joins us. And we had a bit of everything today, didn't we?
Right. Early morning showers, cloudy skies. And what a difference an hour makes, because it was socked in just an hour ago from our view on Grouse Mountain. Now we're seeing a lot of sunshine, which will continue into the next couple of days. Here's a look at temperatures right now across the lower mainland. 17 degrees at the harbor. You're looking at 17 degrees as well in North Vancouver, 18 in Chilliwack, Pitt Meadows, and in Abbotsford. So as we head through the overnight, we will see a few clouds dropping down to 11. Tomorrow we'll see mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 20 degrees near the water, 24 degrees inland. So make sure you slap on that sunscreen, because the UV index will be 7 or high. And the rain that we needed, we didn't see much of it yesterday or this morning, but it doesn't look like we'll see any of it to finish off the month of May. I've got those details coming up.
Yeah, I guess we got some, so I guess we should be grateful,
but not
for
a
that.
lot.
All right, thanks,
You're
Anne.
welcome.
Well, tonight we get our first look inside the Sanok Towers at the foot of the south end of the Burrard Bridge. The Squamish Nation has reclaimed their ancestral land with a dramatic development that will provide thousands of rental homes. CTV's Penny Daflos on what it will cost to live there and what it means to the First Nation.
They are the towering sentinels that have taken shape on Vancouver's skyline over the course of years, and now we're getting a look inside for the first time.
It's been over 100 years since people have lived in this village, so it's really, really heartwarming to know that we're going to have our first residents.
The first tower at Sanok will see residents move in starting this week. Priority at the purpose-built rentals was for Squamish Nation residents and then other First Nations. 20% of units are subsidized, the rest at the going rate.
We're looking at those market rents for a studio starting around $1,600, a one-bedroom around $22,000, and a two-bedroom around $3,500.
Aside from the stunning views, Indigenous artwork graces the outside and inside of the structures.
We are looking at the two sisters, or as known also as the lines, representing the circle of life under the sisters.
Ryan Johnston sees his pieces as more than just beautifying homes for people.
It's pretty much like pushing us into expanding and modernizing and, being more a part of the city instead of feeling like a slight outcast, even though we're within the city limits.
Our intention was to bring our people home, but it's also understanding that this is an economic development project for our community.
The 11-acre parcel was returned to the Squamish by the federal government in an act of reconciliation.
Initially, there was a lot of protest, a lot of resistance, from our neighbors. And, I'm sure there's still a lot of people who are disgruntled about what's happening here, but really it's about change, and not a lot of people are comfortable with change.
Applications are now open to the general public, with studios and 4-bedroom units available with upscale amenities and future retail and gathering spaces.
Over 60% of Sanok's site is going to be accessible public space for all.
A new neighborhood in the city making a meaningful contribution to the housing crisis while infusing it with cultural significance. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Turning now to the growing concern about the city of Vancouver pulling the plug on a long-promised swimming pool. Marpole residents say their pool is already partly built and has been in the works for years. But the mayor recently promised a new pool to another rec center. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has the story.
Construction is nearing completion at Marpole Community Centre, the city's oldest rec centre.
The community centre was built when I was born, 1949, so it's getting up there, trust me.
The renewal includes an outdoor pool. In 2018, the Park Board's aquatic strategy outlined the commitment.
I remember vividly, our assistant mayor called me and say, "Hey Albert, you think that Marpole like a pool?" I said, Absolutely.
The plumbing is done, only the concrete needs to be poured. But a few months ago, the Marpole Community Association was told there was a funding shortfall.
It'll be built later. Now, later is sort of an ambiguous term.
And then in April, Mayor Ken Sim revealed his 4-year capital plan, announcing a pool for a different community in South Vancouver at Sunset Park.
We are bringing a pool to Sunset as well, so yes.
Nobody explained to us why. Nobody picked up the phone and said, you guys, you're going to be a little shocked by what you hear. It came out in the news and I was upset.
After CTV News started asking questions about why Sunset was chosen over Marpole, we learned ABC is now saying the pool will be part of the capital plan, but it's not clear how it will be funded.
I don't know where council's getting that money from, but I'm sure it's from CACs or some money that the city has. But that project is planned for phase 2 and it will go ahead.
Park Board Commissioner Jazz Verdi called the mix-up, quote, misinformation.
There is a pool slated for phase 2 of Marpole, and that plan is going forward in the capital plan. The Sunset project is actually a separate pool project.
The Marpole Community Association says it's hopeful ABC will follow through on its commitment. If not, votes ahead of the municipal election in October could be on the line. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
New York has done it. Will Vancouver sell World Cup tickets at a discount to its residents? What's being done with the 9,000 tickets they have? Also ahead.
The Bear just perceived the male runner as a threat and was defensive in trying to get him back as quickly as she could.
2 bear attacks in recent weeks, the latest in Squamish. Our camera captures the mama bear and her cubs that were involved. That's ahead. It's safe to say Mexico City has World Cup fever. A massive mural celebrating the country's soccer heritage has been unveiled. At more than 200 square meters, it is actually a world record holder for the largest mural painted with a brush. Mexico City will host the opening match of the tournament on June 11th. Taking in a FIFA World Cup game next month in Vancouver is setting people back thousands of dollars. But in one American host city, locals are being given a chance to get inside the stadium for just $50. Don't expect that here. CTV's Andrew Johnson on what the city of Vancouver is doing with its 9,000 match tickets.
A World Cup win for New York City's mayor.
These 1,000 tickets are going to be split into batches of 150 tickets for each of the 5 group stage matches and 2 knockout round matches in New York, New Jersey, and tickets will cost only $50.
New Yorkers priced out of the World Cup have a shot every day this week at $50 tickets in a daily lottery.
If I win, I'll be there.
Mayor Zoran Mamdani negotiated the approval to sell discount tickets to the public with FIFA President Gianni Infantino. That got us thinking about Canada's 2 host cities and why affordable tickets are not being offered to the public here. We asked the Vancouver Host Committee about that. Here's what we learned. The municipality is in possession of 9,000 match tickets across Vancouver's 7 games. Of those, 1,600 were provided to the city by FIFA and 7,400 were purchased by the city. The host committee says the majority will be sold off through its sponsorship program to help offset hosting costs. This urban planning specialist doesn't like the look of those optics.
So purchased with taxpayer funds. But we don't know how much they're actually going to charge, right? I don't even know if we know how much they paid for the tickets. And to do so in a way that is transparent and honestly just fair.
When we asked how much the tickets are being sold for, we were told in an email that's confidential.
So this is not the way government is supposed to work.
Vancouver says it is providing up to 350 tickets for young people who face barriers. Toronto's host committee is expected to provide ticket data tomorrow. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
A Surrey family has walked all the way to Victoria, calling on the province to provide funding for gene therapy treatment to help their 3-year-old son.
He deserves a fair chance, just like any other child. Not because his condition is rare, like he should not be left behind. If any child is sick, they get their medicine. This gene therapy is Gurmo's medicine, and he deserves it.
The Gill family has walked around 120 kilometers since Thursday from Canada Place to Victoria to raise funds for their 3-year-old son, Gurmo. Gurmo has spastic paraplegia type 4, a progressive condition that affects his ability to walk, eat, and speak on his own. The family says they have raised more than $2 million for his treatment, but need $2.7 million to start treatment. The Gills say they have met with the province but have not received any commitments to funding or a timeline. A bear encounter in Squamish is prompting new warnings tonight after a runner was swiped by a protective sow. But conservation officers say the bears are staying put. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has more.
Barricades and warning signs are now in place after a bear attacked a man running the Spit Road area of Squamish Monday evening.
Officers responded immediately to the victim, did a victim assessment.
The man came across 2 bear cubs. He was injured after the sow charged him and swiped his arm and leg.
The bear just perceived the male runner as a threat and was defensive in trying to get him back as quickly as she could.
The victim has minor injuries, but he is expected to make a full recovery.
He did a very good job at hazing the bear off, doing what you're supposed to.
While sweeping the area, conservation officers spotted a sow and 2 cubs. They were scared away from the trail.
Because the attack was defensive in nature, the bears were left in the area.
And they're still roaming. CTV News caught a glimpse of the sow and her cubs on Wednesday, just meters away from the barricades. The attack comes just over a week after another bear encounter in Mission, where a man was also left with superficial injuries. And in Coquitlam, the Critter Care Wildlife Society says 2 bear cubs were recently spotted alone. While they're believed to have since been reunited with their mother, one bear viewing guide says the provincial government's imposed 48-hour wait period before intervening should be reconsidered.
It's important because we lose a lot of cubs by waiting that 48 hours, and chances of mom coming back is there. She can end off coming back, but it's very low.
Back in Squamish, officials say giving the bear family space is critical. As long as the tape and barricades are up, people must stay out.
We're just asking the public to please remain out of the area for their safety as well as the bear's safety. We don't want to have to remove this bear at all.
Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Squamish.
A developing story, Mark Carney's Liberals are about to lose one of their high-profile MPs, what CTV News has learned. Also coming up.
When people are not driving safely, that we have evidence to be able to prove that.
It will soon be law for all commercial trucks in BC to have dash cams. How much of a difference could it make to keep our roads safer? That's ahead. News has confirmed a high-profile member of the Liberal Party will resign as MP over concerns about the Carney government's rollback of climate policies. After nearly 7 years on Parliament Hill, Stephen Guilbeault confirmed to CTV News that he is quitting politics. The former Environment and Climate Change Minister is expected to make it official at the Liberal caucus meeting tomorrow. Guilbeault resigned from cabinet last year after the federal government inked a memorandum of understanding with Alberta with a plan to build a new pipeline.
I really appreciate his work, his advocacy, and I'm fully respectful of his decision.
Liberal Nate Erskine-Smith is also stepping down, while Jonathan Wilkinson has been appointed as the ambassador to the EU. The 3 departures will eventually trigger more by-elections, which could affect the Liberals' thin majority. The BC legislature isn't known for unanimous decisions, but a new bill aimed at commercial truck safety is changing that. CTV's Kevin Chirac explains.
A new law aimed at improving safety on BC roads and providing clarity after crashes.
Quite pleased that we've got to the point where we're going to have a law that we can mandate dash cams in commercial vehicles, and we're going to be able to make our roads safer.
The mandate requires forward-facing dash cams in commercial trucks with at least 72 hours of recording, night vision, and high-definition video.
When there is a crash, what's the first thing the RCMP says? Does anybody have any dash cam footage?
The BC Trucking Association supports the move, saying it can help protect drivers and speed up investigations.
The data tells us about 3/4 of accidents that involve heavy commercial vehicles, the heavy commercial vehicle is not at fault at all. And what this data does is it enables the driver and the carrier to show exactly what happened.
It also gives police more evidence. Dashcam video like this helping RCMP investigate a speeding case in the interior, resulting in thousands in fines.
By looking at the dash cam footage, the RCMP officer was able to elevate it to dangerous driving instead of excessive speed. So again, it does give us that extra safety valve when people are not driving safely, that we have evidence to be able to prove that.
But industry leaders say the rule shouldn't stop at the BC border.
We don't want to have a particular set of requirements in British Columbia that's different than in every other province across the country. We really want to avoid creating any more interprovincial barriers.
And while many trucks already have cameras, the technology continues to evolve.
We're involved with ICBC in piloting some initiatives to gather data with advanced telematics to show that there is a safety improvement.
With tens of thousands of heavy vehicle licenses in BC, the majority are already using dash cams voluntarily. The new regulations are still being finalized, and it's not yet clear when they'll take effect. Kevin Chirac, CTV News.
More resources are being sent by Ottawa to fight wildfires. What aircraft will be available this season? Also coming up, good news in the search for a missing marmot on Vancouver Island. Why there was so much concern for this endangered animal. That's ahead on CTV News at 6.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. A cloudy day at the pier at the public dock along the mighty Fraser River in Surrey.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
China's drone technology has entered a new era as 33,000 drones performed a record-breaking light show. The show set a Guinness World Record for the largest simultaneous drone flight and the largest aerial pattern. Official certification confirmed breakthroughs in scale, design, and aerial display, marking the first time all three elements were achieved together. Help is on the way for Canadian communities battling wildfires this season. The 10 aircraft include 4 air tankers, 5 helicopters, a bird dog plane, and 2 support assets. The planes will be stationed across the country based on expected need. Instead of buying the aircraft, Ottawa chose to lease them so they could be used immediately with pilots already in place. A baby raccoon is back on dry land after falling into a storm drain. Firefighters in Colorado Springs managed to rescue the tiny raccoon who got stuck in the storm drain after some heavy rain. The crew brought it back to the station where they made a makeshift nursery out of an empty trash can, complete with a blanket and teddy bear. It was unharmed and is now being looked after by a local animal shelter.
Aww.
Looks so different when it's wet and
Yes.
tiny. I'm used to seeing these gigantic creatures that knock over garbage cans.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently they make good pets if you get them at the orphan baby stage.
I would think that they are a bit mischievous when they get older.
It depends on what kind of home, you know. Some people like that. But I'm glad he is safe and sound now. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. We started off cloudy today. The sun has broken through. We're looking at a mix of sun and cloud outside downtown Vancouver right now. 15 degrees with a little bit of a breeze from the southwest at 13 degrees. We saw below seasonal temperatures today with a high only of 16.8, a degree below the monthly average at 17.8. It was a mild night, overnight lows at 11.1, and not a lot of rain all month, and we don't see any rain as we head into the rest of the month of May. 13.9 millimeters only. The seasonal average is 59.1 millimeters. So ridge of high pressure offshore. That will continue to build and strengthen, clearing things out of the way for most of the province, keeping things nice and dry for the rest of the month of May. So here's a look at our weather tracker right now. Lots of sunshine across the lower mainland. That's what we can expect as we head through the overnight. Clear and calm for your early morning commute, and that continues through the afternoon. Some high cloud around through the afternoon hours, but it does clear up. Mostly sunny skies throughout the day tomorrow as well. You will see lots of sunshine for the central coast and central interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Mostly sunny skies for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 18 degrees, warming up to 25s under mostly sunny skies for Campbell River and Comox. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria with temperatures between 19 and 28 degrees. Sunny skies for the Sunshine Coast and 22. Warm up the Sea to Sky Highway, 25 for Squamish, 26 for Whistler, and for us across the lower mainland. Mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 20 degrees near the water, 25 degrees further inland. On Thursday, we'll see inland temperatures reach 25 once again. It clouds over and cools down on Friday, 16 degrees. Clears up for the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy skies. Continuing into Monday, warming out to 20 degrees. And then on Tuesday, we'll start off sunny. Clouds over through the afternoon with a high of 22. So, yeah, that's it. As we say goodbye to May and hello to June, it will be dry.
Yeah, at least we had a couple days where we didn't have to water our plants.
Exactly, but we'll be back into watering as we head into tomorrow.
That's true. All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
There's an update to the Campbell River marmot we told you about yesterday who took off in the wrong direction. The Marmot Recovery Foundation says the little guy has been caught and is on his way to the recovery center. The Vancouver Island marmot was on a walkabout and traveled into areas with roads and birds of prey, leaving researchers worried about the safety of the endangered critter. Those helping the marmot are optimistic he will be released back into the wild with other marmots sometime this summer. It is a huge factor in how productive workers are. How much burnout is affecting people struggling to do their jobs. Also ahead.
They won't come back unless I agree to pay another $700-800.
To repair or replace a broken appliance. One woman's sticker shock when she got the bill to fix a stove that was only 4 years old. That's ahead on CTV News at 6. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar still trading for around 72 cents U.S. Oil down to just under $94. Gold saw an almost $21 drop. Let's take a look at the stock market. The TSX down 177 points. The Dow Jones lost 118 points on the day. A new wellness report suggests burnout is leading to major losses in productivity. The report from Manulife Canada states that burnout is responsible for productivity losses, adding up to 46 working days per employee every year. It says fatigue, stress, and burnout are impacting employees' focus, meaning workers are still showing up but contributing less. 80% of respondents say work contributes to their current mental state, with nearly 6 in 10 saying mental health challenges impact their ability to do their jobs. Manulife is recommending employers make benefit programs easier to access and use. It can be frustrating if you have an appliance break down, and it seems with some models they don't make them like they used to. If you need to have something repaired, the costs can escalate quickly, especially if the problem is not diagnosed properly the first time. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
It's not working. No heat whatsoever.
Louise Renwick of Markham says in early May her 4-year-old oven quit working. She called Samsung but then decided to go with what she thought was a local repair company. A technician came to her home and charged her almost $800 to change a temperature sensor, but the oven still wouldn't turn on.
So I said, oh, just a minute. I don't think it's working. So I tried it, and it's exactly the way it was before he came in.
She was then told it was the oven's main board that needed replacing. They offered a 10% discount on the part, but with taxes and labor, repairs would be more than what she paid for the stove in the first place.
They won't come back unless I agree to pay another $700-800 on top of the $800 I've already given them.
She hired the A-Team Appliance Repair, which was the first company to pop up in a Google search. On the invoice, it says A-Team Appliance Repair works out of this building in Markham, but the security guard said they left 5 months ago. Our emails to the company were not returned. When we called them, they hung up.
Thank you for calling Appliance Repair Team.
Hello, Lisa speaking. How may I help you today?
Hi, it's Pat Foran calling from CTV News. We're just trying to speak to someone about a complaint. Hello?
That is a very high number of complaints.
The Better Business Bureau says in the past 3 years, there have been 732 complaints filed against the company, and they've been given an F, the Bureau's lowest rating. There's a pattern of complaints.
Consumers are alleging that the company is unable to properly diagnose and repair the appliances effectively, and the cost of repairs are grossly inflated.
The BBB suggests checking its website for reviews, calling a manufacturer directly, and to realize some companies pay Google to be the first to pop up in online searches. As for Renwick, she's putting her money towards a new stove, not more repairs.
I can buy a new one for $1,200. That's better than this stove.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
While some luxury car makers are scaling back their EV plans, Ferrari is pushing ahead. It presented its first fully electric car this week. The Luce, Italian for light, is Ferrari's first 5-seater aimed at families with deep pockets. It's priced at €550,000, which is more than 880,000 Canadian. Ferrari says the car has a range of over 500 kilometers. Time to live large, and we've got some luxurious listings in Metro Vancouver this week. Just ahead. Plus, meaningful message. Adam finds out why a woman who found a message in a bottle buried in her garden decided not to open it for 24 hours. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of your morning Vancouver.
It's a power struggle over local water resources and the future of AI in Canada. Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll take a closer look at the pushback to planned AI data center projects in Metro Vancouver. And as we mark World Hunger Day this week, how British Columbians have significantly changed their dietary habits around rising food prices. We'll see you in the morning.
Training camp is underway for Canada's men's soccer team ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah, how much do you set up the next play? Yes, boom, good boys, good.
32 players have been invited to camp in what was a very rainy Charlotte, North Carolina today. Head coach Jesse Marsh has just a couple days to evaluate the group before the final 26-man roster is revealed on Friday. The coaching staff is looking to integrate several players who have been dealing with injuries back into the lineup before the World Cup kicks off.
I think we're all going to push each other as much as possible to try and make that roster. But, like I said before, this group is really selfless. This group really just wants what's best for this team. And whoever ends up making that roster, we're all going to be there supporting each other for whoever didn't.
Next week, Canada will play Uzbekistan in Edmonton and Ireland in Montreal in the team's final 2 tune-up matches. Canada then opens the World Cup June 12th in Toronto against Bosnia-Herzegovina. The American Music Awards were handed out last night, and the biggest group in the world took home the event's biggest award. BTS won Artist of the Year for the second consecutive year. The K-pop group also won the new Song of the Summer Award for their hit Swim. Sabrina Carpenter was another big winner, taking the awards for Album of the Year and Best Female Pop Artist. Canadian Justin Bieber was named Best Male Pop Artist. Still sad that BTS not coming to Vancouver.
Me Jung sad. Yeah. Only me Jung sad.
I know, I had to watch that opening performance and just live vicariously that way. Okay, it's time for Living Large, our weekly segment showcasing dream homes across BC and what it would cost to call them your own.
Tonight we're touring some of the most luxurious listings.
A European-inspired estate in the township of Langley is on the market for nearly $19 million. The gated Tannin Manor sits on more than 28 acres with 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and more than 15,000 square feet of living space. And you've got a big family. Would that fit your family?
No, still too big, small.
Well, the property also features a wine cellar, fitness center, and pool house. You can put them in the pool house. Even has its own helipad. Very useful,
yes,
right?
Of course it does. Well, take a look at this one. This $9.9 million French-inspired estate in Surrey comes with 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and more than 12,000 square feet of luxury living. The Grey Owl Manor features a temperature-controlled wine cellar, elevator, resort-style pool, hot tub, home theater, and bar. It also has its own basketball court and golf simulator.
Look at the size of that pool, too.
Wow. Amazing.
And finally, this $10.9 million Tudor home on Southwest Marine Drive has been rebuilt for the 21st century. The 4-level Wilmar House features 9 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and nearly 11,000 square feet of modern living space. It also comes equipped with a coach house, home theater, games room, bar, and an outdoor fire pit.
Beautiful.
Very nice, but it's modern, and yet it's traditional and historic outside. I kind of like the historic inside, too, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, but you know what? If they offered it to me, I wouldn't say no.
I'm not going to say no to that.
Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a minute. Lauren, what's coming up tonight at 11:30?
Well, Mijung, after the relatively hot, dry spring we have been having, there are already wildfire warnings, not just in the backcountry, but right in our own backyard. And tonight we catch up with some wildfire experts about the dangers of urban fires and the ways to help mitigate any threats to your home and your property.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. A BC woman was surprised to discover a hidden message from the previous tenants of her apartment. As Adam finds out, she let curiosity get the better of her, despite warnings it could be a curse. On tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
Julie Valet was preparing to plant something new when she unexpectedly dug up something old.
I was so surprised, so in shock.
It was a bottle that had been buried under her garden bed that had a rolled up piece of paper inside it.
Really something so strange. I was like, this is really happening?
But before she had time to consider who put it there and why, Julie had to go meet a client who told her to definitely not open the bottle because where he came from, people think it could contain a curse.
I'm really not superstitious, but I don't know. It just shocked me for 24 hours.
The last thing Julie needed was bad luck, seeing as she was already having doubts about how her life was unfolding, so she sought solace outside.
I have the feeling that I'm in the middle of nature.
Here, on her apartment patio, where plants thrive and animals like deer and raccoons frequent.
And I even see a river otter that comes quite often that scares my cat away.
When she went back inside, Julie started researching her dilemma about the bottle online.
It's quite a mystery, and I have to get to the bottom of this.
She was advised not to be afraid and open it.
So I thought, okay, let's do it.
And discovered a handwritten message inside.
It was nothing like a curse. It was quite the opposite, actually.
It began, "May this wee piece of land bring you joy.
May the birds, deer, raccoon, and other creatures return and add to the pleasure of nature."
Whoever wrote this, Julie realized, had encountered the same animals she had.
And I thought, oh, that's probably a nice lady who was living here and enjoying being in nature.
Julie asked her neighbors and building manager who had lived in her apartment before her, but none of them knew. Not that it really mattered.
It was just magical.
Because after wondering about all the things she didn't have in her life, this reminder of all the things she did felt like a perfect gift.
I just feel even luckier than I felt before.
Which is why Julie's framed the note, and whenever she can, will accept the invitation written at the end of it. To pull up your chair in nature and grab a cup of tea and give it all a toast. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
That is beautiful. Now, if you guys found a bottle like that, would you wait 24 hours, or would you just rip it open?
I'd open it. Yeah.
I'd just open it. And you could see that there was a note in there.
Yeah, I'd be too curious.
Yeah,
You notice she assumed it was a woman who wrote that note.
Very nice cursive.
Yeah, very nice writing, so possibly.
Good handwriting.
But a beautiful backyard she has.
Yeah, a little piece of paradise.
Stunning. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Another beautiful photo, beautiful view of Mount Baker. Thanks, Brenda, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Yeah, it's amazing how sometimes Baker can look so close.
Yes, but it's so far away.
You don't realize how far it is. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening.
Good night.